The blacksmith does not forge steel by showing it to crowds. He works in heat, pressure, and silence, far from applause, far from praise. Yet the blade he creates will cut true long after the cheers have faded. You were not designed to rent your worth from other people's clapping hands. Zeno of Citium understood this when he founded the Stoic school in ancient Athens. After losing his fortune in a shipwreck, he could have spent his life seeking sympathy, validation, or approval from others. Instead, he discovered something far more valuable: that true worth is forged in the fire of character, not in the fleeting warmth of applause. But we live in an age of constant performance. Social media metrics, performance reviews, public recognition. The subtle and not so subtle ways we measure our value by how others react to us. We have become addicted to the drug of external validation, and like any addiction, it demands ever-increasing doses while delivering ever-diminishing returns. The Stoics called this slavery by another name, and they were right. The first teaching Zeno would offer you is this: the forge requires no audience. True strength is built in private moments when no one is watching, no one is recording, and no one will ever know what you chose to do. The executive who stays late to perfect work that will never be credited to him personally. The parent who shows patience with their child when they are exhausted and no one will praise them for it. The student who studies with integrity, even when they could cheat without consequence. These are the moments that build character, not the moments when everyone is watching. Consider Marcus Aurelius, who wrote his most profound thoughts in private journals never intended for publication. His meditations contain no flourishes designed to impress readers, no clever turns of phrase crafted for applause. They are the raw, honest thoughts of a man working on himself. And they have endured for nearly 2,000 years, precisely because they were written for an audience of one. The second principle cuts deeper. Applause is borrowed time. Character is compound interest. When you build your sense of worth on external validation, you are essentially taking out loans against your future self. Each round of applause feels good in the moment, but it creates a debt, the need for more, bigger, louder validation tomorrow. Character, on the other hand, compounds quietly. Each private victory, each moment of integrity when no one sees, builds upon itself until you possess something unshakable. The Roman senator Cato the Younger demonstrated this when he chose to walk through the streets in simple clothes while his peers competed in expensive displays. He was not trying to impress anyone with his simplicity. He was building the muscle of self-command. When political winds shifted and his wealth was threatened, he remained unmoved because his worth had never depended on external symbols. Here lies the third insight from the forge. Heat reveals what is real. Pressure exposes what is false. The blacksmith knows that only genuine steel will hold its edge under stress. Everything else breaks. When you base your worth on applause, you build with material that cannot withstand pressure. The first criticism, the first failure, the first moment when the crowd moves on to someone else, and your foundation crumbles. But when your worth comes from character, from the daily practice of virtue, from the accumulated weight of right choices made without fanfare, you become like forged steel. Cannot break you, because your worth was never dependent on praise. Failure cannot destroy you, because your identity was never built on success. The crowd's attention can move elsewhere, because you never needed them to validate who you are. Epictetus, who spent years as a slave before becoming one of history's greatest teachers, knew this truth intimately. He could not control whether his master approved of him. He could not control whether society respected him. But he could control his responses, his thoughts, his character. And in that control he found a freedom that no applause could grant and no criticism could take away. The fourth teaching strikes at the heart of the addiction. You cannot serve two masters, truth and approval. The moment you begin shaping your words, your actions, or your choices based on what will generate applause, you stop serving truth. You become a performer instead of a person, an actor instead of an authentic being. The politician who says what polls well rather than what he believes. The artist who creates what will trend rather than what moves her soul. The friend who agrees with everything to be liked rather than offering honest counsel. This is not living. It is elaborate pantomime. Zeno taught that wisdom begins with the courage to be disliked for the right reasons, rather than loved for the wrong ones. This does not mean being intentionally difficult or contrarian. It means being willing to speak truth, act with integrity, and hold to principles, even when, especially when, it costs you approval. The final lesson from the Forge is perhaps the most liberating. The only applause that matters is the quiet recognition of your own conscience. At the end of each day, when the lights dim and the crowds disperse, you are alone with yourself. In that solitude, you know whether you acted with courage or cowardice, integrity or compromise, authenticity or performance. That knowledge, that inner witness, is the only judge whose opinion ultimately matters. This is not selfishness, this is self-respect. And from genuine self-respect flows the ability to respect others, to contribute meaningfully to the world, to build something lasting. You cannot give what you do not possess, and if you do not possess genuine self-worth, worth built from character rather than collected from crowds, you have nothing real to offer. The blacksmith knows that the finest blades are forged in the hottest fires, shaped under the greatest pressure, and tempered in the quietest moments. Your character follows the same principles. Each time you choose integrity over applause, truth over approval, character over performance, you are working at the forge of your own soul. The steel you create there will serve you long after every crowd has gone home. It will cut through challenges that would break lesser materials. It will hold its edge through storms that were dull blades forged for show rather than for use. Stop renting your worth from applause. Start building it in the forge of daily discipline, private integrity, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing you have lived according to your highest principles, whether anyone noticed or not. If this moved you, comment "The Citadel holds" below. It is our sign that you carry the philosophy with you. Subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.